right. Good evening, everyone. We promised you we'd be back, and so here we are. Welcome to Unapologetic with Chet and Duffy right here on Fans Only Sports Network. I'm your host, Chet, running the show alongside my great counterpart and dynamic duo, I should say, my partner in crime, Duffy. Duffy, how are you doing, my man? I feel like I always have to give you a nice big intro to bring you in because, you know, it fits you.
Thank you, man. Oh, yeah. Intros always go from you, but having a good Thursday. Ready after it tonight, and it all starts with New England and Buffalo tonight on Thursday Night Football. I mean, you're going to be hyped up for that game.
Honestly, dude, if there's
you're a busy guy. Thursday is one of your free days, and Pat's back-to-back Thursdays on playing football.
I know exactly. It's a nice 2 weeks for me. I actually get to sit down and watch some football, and not only just some football, the team I love and care about the most throughout my entire life. This is the team. So for me right now, this is huge, and I just can't wait to sit down. And in a way, dude, I wish I was sitting right there with you watching this game out of all the games on the schedule.
Yeah, this is going to be a good game. I wish you were here too, man, and especially to see this new Mac Jones jersey, vintage 90s theme.
You bought it?
Bought it off of this super Chinese Instagram ad website. It's sick though, dude. It doesn't look that fake until you really look at the Patriots logo right here.
Oh, yeah. You can see the stitching and everything. But, that's 100%
man.
fake.
Sick, dude. Mac Jones.
Put that.
He needs to have a clinic tonight.
Hey, as Antonio Brown said, put that bleep on. Put that on.
Put that on right now. We need from this guy.
Also,
tonight.
that is news that Antonio Brown, I don't know if you saw it, there's a warrant out for his arrest right now for a assault and battery charge on November 28th.
Yeah, I mean, very fitting for Antonio Brown, but hopefully whoever he assaulted is good now.
Yeah.
Antonio Brown has some crazy hands, those CTE hands, as all the Instagram comments say.
Yeah.
It's very sad to see what he's become. He's a troublemaker now. He used to be a great guy, great kid, great athlete, great teammate. Still is a great athlete, but everything else, I mean, kind of has gone to dust from Antonio Brown. His legacy,
yeah,
wasn't a future Hall of Famer just a few years ago, and now something even see him in that position in the future.
And it's kind of funny because I brought up Antonio Brown. I'm sure I've told you about this. Our mutual friend TJ, otherwise known as Shinobi Duck, said that when I told him Antonio Brown is a rapper and made a song, he literally looked at me and said, Antonio Brown. Like, it's ridiculous where he's kind of come from and where he ended up now. And I mean, it's sad to see, but at the end of the day, best way I can put is it's a guy who is lost right now and doesn't want help. And hopefully he gets it at some point.
Big troublemaker, and hopefully get some help. Don't really think he wants it either. But hey, man, it is what it is.
It is what it is.
He's gonna figure out eventually.
Yeah, hopefully. We hope the best for everybody that was involved, specifically the victim of this assault and battery. We hope they're doing all right, and hopefully Antonio Brown's brought to justice on this one, because can't keep letting people like that get away with stuff. But we'll hop right into the topics today. Starting right out of the gate, Duffy said it, Patriots, Bills. This was a matchup that from the start of the season, Patriots fans are definitely nervous for, especially the way last season ended. Patriots did beat the Bills in Buffalo 13-, what was the score? 13-10?
14-10.
14-10, the final in Buffalo. They come to Foxborough. The final score is escaping me in that one.
33-21.
There you go. Exactly. And then going into wild card,
47-17.
Absolute blowout in the playoffs. That's the memory the Patriots walked away from that game. And now the day has come where the Bills come marching into Foxborough, sitting at 8-3, sitting at second place. This is a situation they didn't want to be in, really. They wanted to have a commanding lead in the division, but the Miami Dolphins have proven they are a very talented organization, a talented squad of guys. And the Patriots, this is not where they wanted to see themselves. Back in last place after a tough loss last week and a win for the Jets pushed them back from third to dead last in the AFC East. So the Patriots sitting at 6-5 take on an 8-3 Bills team. And the Patriots have a lot to play for tonight because they're looking to stay alive. They are currently in the hunt to get into the postseason. As we just mentioned, this is the first time all year they've been in this position, and now it's do or die for them.
It's do or die indeed. And if you're the Pats, you don't want to get a 500, and this is probably the worst game to do so. I mean, good thing it's not Buffalo. Pats are at home, like you said, Chet, but this is a tough game for the Patriots. And this is a Josh Allen-led Bills team that has come to Foxborough the last 2 years and beaten the Patriots pretty handily in both those games. And definitely trying to, like you said, get back in that division, take a grasping lead over the Miami Dolphins. But, both are 8-3 now. This will put them ahead temporarily until Sunday. Miami has San Francisco on Sunday. But Pats need to win this game. And you saw the game last year against Buffalo on Monday Night Football, the one that you mentioned. Pats just pound the rock. They pounded right up the middle, pretty much the whole game and dominated time possession. Were able to win that game in the freezing cold. But, different atmosphere tonight. I think Mac Jones, I got that guy's name on my back. Hopefully him is good luck for him. He's got to step up tonight big time. He's got to, in the words of my friend Begatino, he's got to air raid this Bills defense. And we saw it. A lot of promise in the Patriots pass offense last week on Thanksgiving, but can they do it back-to-back weeks? Time will tell. But this Bills defense has been very solid all year. They've had some rough patches in the road, but not really, honestly. Last week against the Lions, they were kind of susceptible on defense, but Mac Jones in the past really got to bring it to the Bills tonight. They really got to spread it out, establish their run game early and play some good defense at home. This is a must-win game for the Pats. I can't stress it enough. Cannot pull the 500 in this flooded AFC playoff picture.
Absolutely. It's a very competitive AFC. It's an AFC we expected to be competitive from day one of the offseason. The league completely shifted in terms of the power struggle. And now the Patriots, it became a lot more difficult for them to find a position in the postseason. And it's proving right now. So tonight, as we've said, it's a must win. The Bills right now currently ranked defensively 4th in passing and in rushing against both. So for the Patriots, like you said, Bills proved that they were susceptible last week on Thanksgiving. They were in Detroit. They are also on the road once again. So Patriots could catch them sleeping in Foxborough. But this is a team the Bills are very familiar with. They are familiar with them, then just like they're familiar with the Jets and the Dolphins. However, the Bills have not beat an AFC East team this year.
So this is 0-3 and 0-2 in the division.
So that is something that bodes well for the Patriots in this one. And last week, as you said, we did see them play a Minnesota Vikings defense that was very susceptible to the pass. Vikings, however, are ranked in the dead last against the pass defensively in the NFL. And in terms of rushing, they are also dead last in terms of allowing rushing yards defensively. So we're talking about one of the worst defenses in football. And now the Patriots are going from one of the worst to one of the best. However, it's something they're familiar with. So I think that confidence will translate in tonight's game, hopefully. Yeah,
the Patriots can't play timid. They've been playing too conservative on offense in recent weeks, settling for a lot of field goals, not really taking chances on 3rd and 4th downs, really. And I think they got to do the opposite. This is a game where you got to bring it all you got, especially against the Bills team that is 0-2 in the division. And dropping into 0-3 would be huge for tiebreakers later on the season with not only the Patriots, but with the Dolphins too. They can easily be sitting atop the division with it at the end of the year. Maybe even the Jets, who are doing good this year as well. But, this is definitely unfamiliar territory for New England, sitting at this close to 500 this late in the season. And, Belichick and the Pats are going to try to, do what they do best, is win big games and big moments. And, Patriots, man. I mean, this is one of those games where, as a Pats fan, you can't be too disappointed if they lose. But if it's close, you're going to be pissed if they lose,
Exactly. And I mean,
that's going to close it out. They have not been able to close out these high-scoring games, these close games against good teams this year.
Yeah.
And, last week was a great chance to make a statement game against the Minnesota Vikings. And I think tonight, if the Pats keep it close and they can't figure out the end of the game, then there's going to be a lot of narrative about whether Mac Jones is really that guy in New England, Boston sports this week.
Yeah, and that's the thing. The Boston sports world really is very unforgiving with the talent that's shown if it's not shown to be a proven talent. And Mac Jones, sure, it's only his 2nd year, but he's already in the hot seat in terms of Boston sports fans. People want this guy to perform well. And sure, maybe the expectations are a little too high considering we just saw Tom Brady depart just 2 years ago. But as of this point, it's different. Mac Jones is not Tom Brady. He's already proven that. He is a different player, and that's the way he's going to be. But I think tonight will spell a lot of where his future ends up with the Patriots, because we're talking about not just any team. We're talking about the team that's favored to, at least for what we talked about, they're the top favorites to win the Super Bowl as of right now. Sure, Von Miller just got put on IR, but this team has talent. It has everything you could ask for. Sean McDermott has transformed this team. It didn't happen overnight, but it happened very transitionally, and over time, it matured into a winning franchise. And this is a team that's built to win, and the Patriots have a chance to really prove, hey, we're still here. But for me, in this one, that brings me to my point. Tonight's X factor, number one, is going to be Mac Jones. How is he going to perform? Is he going to be unsettled? Is he going to be calm and poised in the pocket? If he does those things, this team has a chance to win. If we see him doing the similar things we saw last week, where at times when the pressure came in and he just decides to get rid of the ball, then this might not be the guy that the Patriots need going forward. Or he's going to have a lot more to really learn going down the road, and it might just be blues for this season. Patriots don't want to fall to 6-6, but Mac Jones is going to be the top priority tonight if the Patriots can perform well.
Sure will be. And that offensive line as well. The offensive line looked probably the best it has all season on Thanksgiving last week against a Bills team that I think has had a good amount of sacks this year. They really got to step up tonight. So statement game on the trenches in the pass game and then secondary in all facets of the game. But at the end of the day, man, I can't pick against the Patriots. I just can't get myself to do it anymore. Last time I did it was against the Browns in Week 6. I'm still taking the Pats tonight, taking them by a final score of 28-27. Give me New England and the over. I love it, man. Give me the Pats. And I'm always saying this because this is my first game wearing this Mac Jones jersey. So how can I not? How can I not? How can I not?
Yeah, I like the score prediction right there. I'm hesitantly also taking the New England Patriots in this one. It was a tough one. It was something I was going back and forth in my head before the show. But I think this is going to be a game where the Patriots defense figures out what to do with Josh Allen. The fact is, you're not going to stop him. He's going to do what he does best, but they're going to do what it takes to hold him to fourth downs, to force them to punt or kick a field goal in situations. And the Patriots are going to do just enough to stay alive in this game and sneak away with the win. Final score 26-23 in Foxborough.
Okay, I like it. I like it, Chet. You were going to take whatever I was taking, though, so.
That's not true at all. Like, I was this close to taking the Bills. This close.
I was too, but then I realized, dude, I can't take the Bills when I'm ripping this Mac Jones jersey for the first time. Who would I be?
Yeah, who would you be? That's a good point. That's a really good point right there.
Yeah.
So those are our predictions for tonight's game. Patriots hopefully will sneak away with the victory. Josh Allen's going, and the Bills will certainly be a huge factor. I'm sure they'll try and shadow Stephon Diggs a little bit more than usual, but that pass offense with players like Isaiah McKenzie, Gabe Davis.
Gotta lock them down.
They got to lock them down.
Lock them down all game, and I think the Pats can do it, man.
I hope so.
I mean, they're fast. So. Isaiah McKenzie shredded the Patriots last year in Week 16. If you remember that, or Week 17, I think it was.
Yes, it was terrible.
Didn't
he have like 9 or 10?
Like a 10-catch game. It was like the best game of his career up to that point. Probably still is.
Yeah, probably.
Big X factor in that game in Foxborough. So
he had a lot of catches last weekend, though.
Yeah, he's been good this year.
Yeah.
When you're playing with Josh Allen, and you get into reps, you gotta be good.
Yeah, you have to be. So those are our thoughts there on the New England Patriots. We're going to move into the next topic, and today's show will probably be around the same time as on Monday. It's kind of a nice split up, I guess, rather than kind of just spitting everything into an hour. But so moving into the next topic.
Yeah,
we talked about a quarterback that was on the hot seat, but now we're going to be talking about NFL head coaches. As we hit Week 13, as we said, and the title of this episode is The Real Football Season Has Begun. But this is also the time where, sure, teams are getting competitive, but these coaches need to keep their teams competitive. And these three coaches really, really need to do that if they actually want to keep their jobs next year. And I think a good place to start is out on the West Coast as the Chargers head to Las Vegas to take on the Raiders. Right now, Brandon Staley he has just proven that he may not be this head coach that the Chargers need. The Chargers have gone from Anthony Lynn to him, and it's improved, but not in the best of ways still. They're still lacking in certain areas. They're taking too many risks. And right now, Staley most people don't really like him as the head coach there. Personally, I don't.
Yeah, and this is a Chargers team that's kind of underwhelmed the last couple of years. I don't know if you remember this, but back in August they were ranked as high as 5 on a lot of power rankings.
It's crazy.
Week 1, supposed to be one of the top members, part of the class of the AFC really this season, and sitting at 6-5 now. They just beat the Cardinals. The last few weeks, the last about month or so, it's looked kind of shaky for the Chargers though, and I think Brandon Staley's been that guy who's kind of lost in games in a way. We've seen it a couple times this year. I mean, even games they've won.
We saw it last year in the last game of the season.
Last year in the last game of the season. It's the Raiders. I mean, some things in games they've won. I remember last year the Chiefs comes to mind where he went for it on 4th and 9 in field goal range in a tied game for no reason. They converted though, and instead of running down the clock to kick the game-tying field goal or game-winning field goal, they scored a touchdown with 30 seconds left for no reason.
Yeah.
This year, I mean, against the Browns, they had a 4th and 2, up 2 points in their own territory, and they went for it. And then, luckily for the Browns, they missed the field goal after all that. But I mean, Staley has balls. He takes decisions, but he takes a lot of risks. Is what I should say. But he's just done a lot of outlandish stuff. And I remember against the Broncos this year Monday night, they just let the clock milk down so much in a game-winning drive, and they won in overtime. He's gotten bailed out a lot just by how talented his team is. But last year we saw it, like you said.
Yeah.
And they finished 9-8. Yeah, they finished 9-8 last year.
They would have made the postseason if they just beat Las Vegas. They had the chance.
Yeah, and then this year too. I mean, sitting at 6-5, lost a lot of games that they should have won probably. They should have made it more contentious at least. But I just feel like he kind of has just like a fuck it mindset.
He really does, and that's the thing. That's the point I want to mention. This is the NFL. This isn't Madden. This is a game that needs to be taken very seriously, and at the same time, you can't put your team in a position to lose. And Brandon Staley's done that numerous amount of times. And as you said, he's gotten lucky. Luck's been on his side. He is very fortunate that he has a quarterback as talented as Justin Herbert, receivers as good as Mike Williams, Joshua Palmer, Keenan Allen, Austin Eckler. Like, that's a stout offense. It really is. Like, if I wanted if I was stuck with a team in the AFC West, I would. If the Chiefs weren't my first pick, I'd go with the Chargers. They have a team that's built to win, but the way they're performing, they're not winning as much as they should. Head coaching record right now sits at 14-13. He will go to 500 if the Chargers lose this week. So far, it's not a great record to look at. None of these coaches.
Issue with that roster too. I mean,
yeah,
offense is weapons, defense is stout.
It arguably could be better than the Chiefs, for all we know. The Chiefs are just coached better, in my opinion.
They've had a bunch of really close games against the Chiefs the last 2 years. They've been the only people to really contest them the last 2 seasons, and they've done it all 4 times, or actually all 6 times, including in the Justin Herbert era. It's been a close game, or the Chargers won twice actually.
Mm-hmm.
But dude, if you want to beat the Chiefs in that division, you got to win the other games as well. You can't just give your best football to the Chiefs 2 games a year and have every other game just mean shit. So
yeah. So Brandon Staley on the hot seat. He definitely needs to make a lot of decisions going down the road. Chargers right now are in a good position. They are in the hunt. They share the same record as the New England Patriots, but they could be in this race. They could be. They still are, but they could be already in the picture.
They might sneak in. We'll see.
Yeah.
A lot of games to go.
So Staley needs to deliver a playoff berth for this team. Otherwise, Chargers move on to greener pastures, because this is just not your guy, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Plain and simple. Now, this also goes for another talented organization, but still out west, but more east in the desert, out in Phoenix,
All these teams we have are in the west. So.
Yeah, exactly. Cliff Kingsbury sitting with the record right now with the Arizona Cardinals at 28-32-1. And he's coached the team since 2019 after coming from Texas Tech as their head coach. Right now, the way everything's kind of gone with Cliff Kingsbury, he gets Kyler Murray, he gets DeAndre Hopkins, he gets players that keep coming to this team and adding more talent. James Conner, J.J. Watt, you name it, these names are here. There's big plays to be had. But the Cardinals just seem to get in their own way every time. And this year, after an electric season last year that suddenly slowed down and resulted in them losing right away in the first round to the Los Angeles Rams, the eventual Super Bowl champions, we see them come into this season with a record that's even more poor than we could have even imagined. And at this point, this is an NFC West they should be competitive in. But this team is not performing, even with Kyler Murray and the options he has to throw to. It's just not working out. And for me, I think regardless, I mean, it's going to happen, but they need to let him go too.
Yeah, this is a Cardinals team that has an abysmal home record the last 3 seasons in the Cliff Kingsbury era. They're 1-6 at home this year. It's terrible. It's awful what we've seen from Arizona this year. I think they're 1-5, maybe 1-5, 1-6, but they're really bad at home, awful. And Kingsbury, another guy who's really underwhelmed the last couple of years. Looking at 2020, they start 6-2, I think it was, or 6-3. They finish 8-8 on the season. Missed the playoffs. Lose the last 2 games. Won them at home to I think it was like the Nick Mullins led 49ers or CJ Beathard led I think it was the CJ Beathard led 49ers.
Yeah.
And then lost to John Wolford in the next game. It was terrible.
Yeah.
And then 2021, I mean, start 7-0. They finish 10-7, 11-6 in the season. They get bounced in the first round of the playoffs by the Rams, and like you said, in abysmal fashion, they got their butts kicked in that game. This year, quite the opposite. I mean, starting 4-7, looking terrible this year. The Cardinals. They've lost a lot of close games too. Kind of just one of those teams that haven't really stepped up when it matters. And I think a lot of that goes to Kingsbury. I mean, I don't think his offense is going to really work. This guy who hasn't had a winning season. Last year was his first winning season at the college or pro level in years. He was leading 5-7 Texas Tech teams. It was with the air raid offense. And they're running that same college offense in the pros. It's just not working out. And Kyler Murray, I think that he's a very talented quarterback, and he's going to keep wasting his career away. The Cardinals go into this, year 4 in the Kingsbury Kyler era, because who are they going to keep between those two? Obviously, Kyler Murray. They signed him to a long contract this offseason, worth a lot of money. And, if it's not working out after this year, if they don't at least turn off some wins by the end of this year, this could very well be the last year for Cliff Kingsbury in the Arizona Cardinals organization.
Yeah, and I mean, based on the record of where the Cardinals stand right now, it's not good enough. It's not good enough. And I think regardless, at the end of the day, I think the Cardinals will also make do at the end of this season and move on to a new head coach, because Kingsbury, it's too much to ask at this point. And he just hasn't been able to perform in the situations that this Cardinals team needs in order to get to the next level. And that's what this team needs, is to get there. And it's not with Cliff Kingsbury. So now we move into the final hot seat candidate. And sitting at number 1, it's a little interesting, but Nathaniel Hackett, head coach of the Denver Broncos, coming into this season, got the trade done. You get a franchise quarterback in Russell Wilson. And this team has just gone from people amping it up, saying this team could win the division, to dead last. This is a team that hasn't scored over 21 points all season long. And it's just another disappointment right now. Coming from Green Bay, coaching Aaron Rodgers for 3 years as the offensive coordinator, comes to the head coach in his first season sitting at a 3-8 record. For me right now, this isn't something to really go berserk about. I mean, yes, this is a very talented offense in terms of what it has, but it's just not performing. And I don't know if it comes down, to the head coach. But for me, I think this is a season that is going to be painfully forgotten. Does it mean Hackett's going to get fired? I am not entirely sure. I don't think he should, in my opinion. I think it's his first year. This could happen, but it's a talented Broncos team. It has the talent, not to win a Super Bowl now, but it's got talent that has potential. It just needs to come together. And maybe this is just the blues that they need to go through this season. And who knows? Maybe they'll figure themselves out at the end of the road. But
Yeah,
he's in an interesting spot right now.
very interesting spot is right. And this Broncos team has been awful. They've been underwhelmed more than any team in the NFL this year. It's supposed to be a good team with a stout defense. They have a stout defense for sure. Allowing one of the lowest points per games in the NFL, but that offense looking terrible. Like you said, Chet, maybe Nathaniel Hackett lasts one more year. I think he's not working. I think he's not figuring out by sometime next year they let go of him. But recently they've been saying that Russell Wilson's the one who's losing the Broncos locker room. He had a birthday party, his 34th birthday party thrown by his famous singer wife Ciara, and only about half of the team showed up, which is crazy. So I heard that Hackett still has the locker room right now. Maybe the guys will rally around him. I know guys are getting sick of Russell Wilson. A little
well, I mean, it's kind of annoying when you're going Broncos,
right
when you're constantly saying Broncos country. Let's ride, and the team just sucks every second. Did you see that Instagram post I sent you where they were recording him like saying that stuff in front of a green screen?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That was so funny to watch.
I've seen it. That was one of the clips of the summer. It was great, and it still is.
Ride.
And they've been riding into, the top 5 of the draft. Whose pick is going to Seattle? That was in the Russell Wilson trade. They don't even have the pick, so it's very tough for Denver. I think Nathaniel Hackett lasts another year. Maybe. I mean, they're going to value Russell Wilson a lot more. You signed a $246 million contract with them for 5 years. Literally, he's one of the highest paid dudes in Colorado right now, and is playing like that. It's terrible. We've seen him.
He probably is. I really don't.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any baseball players right now that are going to get paid more than Russell Wilson.
not by the Rockies,
No.
But, dude, I mean, this is crazy. It's just crazy how bad they've been. 8 touchdown passes for Russell Wilson this season. It's just been awful. In 12 weeks, he has 8 touchdown passes after 12 weeks, 11 games. I think he did miss. It was either 1 or 2. The 2 games I think he missed. So just terrible we've seen from this year. I think Nathaniel Hackett definitely has to take a lot of the blame, but unfortunately for Russell Wilson, they're going to stick it out one more year at least, I believe.
Yeah, I think they'll stick it out one more year. He's definitely in the hot seat as of right now, but I think he has time to really reevaluate his team going into the end of the year and then going into the offseason for next year. His team at this point has no shot to make the postseason.
Sure,
so
they're awful.
Yeah.
Probably the worst team in the AFC.
Probably, and you got to give it to Houston.
For Houston, they're awful. Yeah, they're the worst team in the NFL, Houston.
I almost took them for my upset this week over Cleveland.
Jeez.
That would have been, dude, imagine the Texans just shut them down or something. That'd be insane.
Deshaun's revenge game spoiled. That would be crazy.
That would be a crazy story.
That'd be so funny.
That would
be great content for our show because we're the biggest Deshaun Watson fans,
Yeah, the biggest.
No, we're definitely the least. We don't like him.
But that concludes our hot seat looks for NFL coaches. And now we're going to do our locks and upset picks. And as you know from Monday's episode, because we didn't do them on Thanksgiving, we're giving you 2 of each. 2 of each.
Yes. Double the picks this week.
So right now, Chet and Duffy's records are sitting at, as of week 11, Duffy leads at 13-9. Chet is right behind at 11-11. So Duffy, since you are currently leading, I will let you go ahead and tell us your locks.
So I have 2 locks. My first of which, should I say them both at the same time?
Honestly, go for it.
All right, so I got Miami over San Francisco. They are +4 on the road, and Giants +2 against Washington. Let me start off with Miami. Miami, Mike McDaniel revenge game. I love me a revenge game. It's going to be a high-scoring game, I think. Niners were very shaky on offense last week against the Saints and against the Chargers the week before as well. They have not been looking spectacular offensively the last couple of games. Actually, Chargers were 2 weeks before that, but you know what I mean. Cardinals wasn't the game before that. I have not scored. They did score a lot of points against the Cardinals, but that's besides the point. Against the Dolphins, is a good defense. I think Mike McDaniel going to have to give it to his old head coach a little bit in Shanahan and win this game. Dolphins, they're one of those teams looking for a statement win this year, and I think that this game in San Francisco is going to be a huge victory for them. if they are able to take it out. I think 4 points is a lot of points. I mean, they give the Niners a big spread literally every week, and I don't really understand why it's
Yeah.
always like that high. But they've covered. They covered last week at least against the Saints, and the week before against the Cardinals. So I think Miami's due for a cover against San Francisco. But I also got the Giants +2 against Washington. They're at home. This is a game for Washington to lose. They're feeling hot, feeling ready. Giants have lost their last 2 games. They're at home as well, and they're still getting 2 points. I know this is kind of trappy. Same situation against the Lions the other week where Giants were +2, but both these teams are very similar in the sense that they don't have the flashiest of offenses. They don't have a lot of, points on the board offensively, really, but they just have good defense and good running game. I'm going to give the edge to the Giants at home against a, question mark filled Washington Commanders squad.
That's a lock, really? I thought the Giants were the underdog.
Yeah. No, Giants
Oh.
are Oh. Yeah,
Oh,
I
you
was
gave a
doing my
lock and an
upsets.
upset. That's fine.
I
That's
was
fine. We
doing my
can do it that
upsets
way.
first. My bad.
Oh, you did your upsets?
I did my upsets first. My
Oh,
bad.
well, that's fine. I'll do an upset first too. That doesn't matter. Yeah. No.
Okay.
Or maybe I'll mix it up. No. Okay, so I like both those picks. I do. I like the Giants being an underdog at home. I think that's really huge for them. They're going to come into this game hot and hungry, especially against the Commander squad that's really kind of just they've turned it around. And I like what this team's put together, but I think it's got to get cooled off at some point. They play the Giants back-to-back weeks. So I think what's going to happen is they're going to let this one slip and they'll take them at home. But Giants, I think they're hungry for a win. They haven't had a win in a while. They're sitting at 6-1 at one point. So they're 1-3 right now in their last 4. So for me, I think a statement win at home is huge, especially to reestablish your seeding in the division and in the playoff picture. Giants have a talented squad, and I think they're going to be able to put it together against Taylor Heineke and that Commanders offense and find ways defensively. Find ways offensively to get around that tough Commanders defense. It'll be a close one at the end of the day. So I like that one. And then the Mike McDaniels one, I do like the Dolphins. Right now, we're seeing Elijah Mitchell is out today. Christian McCaffrey is listed as questionable going into this one. So right now, the Niners are a little shaken up at running back. However, something we have to take note of, the Niners, the last, I believe it's 3 or 4 weeks, have allowed no points in the second half. So that is something that's a big note, especially against the Miami Dolphins team that averages around at least 20-plus points a game. I like the pick. I still think the Niners have a shot in this one. I think it's going to be extremely close. I think a 4-point spread is way too much, especially in a revenge game such as this. But I like the Dolphins pick in this one. This could potentially be a high-scoring game, but it could also be a trap game. You never know what could happen. I think both these teams might know each other a little well. This is a pupil of Kyle Shanahan.
Yeah. These two teams do know each other very well, especially the coaches. So I think we're going to see a lot of points on the board. I think both these teams are due for a little shootout. And this game's going to be a lot of fun in that late window.
Absolutely. So I'll switch it up, and I'll go with my locks for this one. So my locks for this week, I'm going to take the Ravens -8.5 over the Broncos. I know it's a little bit Mickey of a pick, but I need a win. Ladies and gentlemen. And then finally, my last lock, this is a tight one. I'm going to take the Jags -1 against the Detroit Lions in Detroit. After what Jacksonville showed us last week against Baltimore, this team's proven, hey, they've got some talent, and we're finally starting to see Trevor Lawrence and Doug Peterson really work well together. The team's really rallied behind Doug Peterson as a head coach. And even with it's Dan Campbell, right, who coaches the Lions?
Yes, it's Dan Campbell.
Campbell has really rallied the locker room around him, but we're seeing the Lions still have some disorganization on offense and defense. And I think we're starting to see the Jaguars become a much more disciplined team and a much more connected team. And I think at the end of the day, we see both these offenses are high-powered, but I like giving the edge to the Jaguars defense just a little bit more than I do with this Detroit Lions defense. This is one of the worst ranked defenses in football. And so for me right now, I'm going to go with the Jags. I think the Jags have a really good shot to win this game. It'll probably be a close one. It'll probably be a lot of points on the board. I'd probably say a final score in that one would probably be, let's say, 30-28. And then going back to my other pick, Broncos, Ravens, there's not much to tell there. Broncos have been abysmal all season. That defense has some power to it, but Lamar Jackson is Lamar Jackson. He's one of the candidates for this year's MVP award. And even without the talents of Rashad Bateman in that offense, Mark Andrews is getting open. The run games open up between Gus Edwards and Lamar Jackson. And then even the receivers, they get involved when they need to. But that Ravens defense is going to have a field day on Russell Wilson and the Denver Broncos. I just know it. I really do. And I think this game is going to be, it could end up being a trap game. You never know. But I think a final score in this one, it's not going to be high scoring. It's going to be middle of the pack. I'm going to say final score is 26-20 Baltimore.
Well, a lot of these Broncos games could have been trap games this year, but they've been proven wrong every single week. But give me the Ravens also. I think a low scoring game. I'm thinking like it's like a 24-10 type of game. It's always the point where you could be like, oh, the Broncos are due to score points, but every week it's the same thing. It's a one touchdown team every week.
Yeah,
it's tough to watch. But give me the Ravens out. I think they're at home, right? The Ravens.
No, I think they're in Denver.
See,
no, they're at home. You're right. At
home, yeah. So, yeah, the 8.5 could be an easy cover. Could be a sweat though. I'm not sure, but
yeah,
it's not my pick. So we'll see if I like it on Sunday. And Jaguars Lions. I like the Lions in this game personally. +1. I like their money line at home. This team that's been kind of streaky lately, kind of hot. Trevor Lawrence had that incredible game-winning drive against the Ravens last week. He's one of our players of the week, obviously on Monday. But give me the Lions at home. I think this is a game for the Lions to get back on track because their schedule is very easy. This team could definitely try to wrap the 7th seed in the NFC at 9-8 by the end of the year.
That'd be crazy if they did.
Really don't have a lot of tough games in their schedule the rest of the year. I mean, this is one of the games to get them going. Could the Jaguars do it 3 weeks in a row? Yeah, they could. But do I think they will? Probably not.
I'm going to check the Lions schedule. Jags, Vikings, Jets, Panthers, Bears, Packers. Okay.
They could win maybe 4 of those games, 8 and 9. They're probably not getting the playoffs, but the NFC has been sneaky good.
It really has. Especially the East.
Especially the East the last month. Been awesome.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to fade you on one of your picks, Chet.
That's fair. So let's hear your locks for this week.
My locks are going a little reverse order. Upset, lock, upsets. My locks this week, I don't think they're that Mickey, but I like Minnesota -3 against the Jets at home, and Green Bay -4.5 at the Chicago Bears. I like the Jets at home. I like the Vikings at home. I think 3 is a very sus line.
Mm-hmm.
Like it should probably be 3.5 or 4 at least probably, but I like the respect the Jets are finally getting on books. Mike White played a phenomenal game last week. Like you just mentioned earlier, that Vikings pass defense and rush defense has been terrible this season. It's held them back a lot. And let's see if the Jets can take advantage one more week. But I think the Vikings are probably going to stick this one out. Maybe push that spread. I think it's a lock for the week in general. I really see the Jets winning that type of game on the road against the Vikings. And my other lock, the Packers over the Bears. Only a few words need to be said here, man. Aaron Rodgers, he still owns the Bears. So all I got to say about that one, give me the Packers by a score of 28-16, and give me the Vikings by a score of 27-23.
Okay. Yeah. I'll definitely take that Minnesota lock. I mean, the Jets are good. They've got the talent, but this is a Minnesota team that's a lot different than what we've seen in the past. And I think they'll be able to make do with what the Jets provide in terms of pressure. I think Kirk Cousins just has too many weapons to go to. Even though that Minnesota Vikings defense is one of the worst in football, I still think they'll find a way to keep them under wraps in terms of this one. I just think Mike White, he flashed some talent. Like, sure, first Jets quarterback to ever have multiple 300-plus yard games since like way back when. It's the Jets. I don't care.
It's a pretty sad stat.
It's a sad stat. Like, it really proves the word that my brother would use to describe them as a poverty franchise, because that's what it is, unfortunately. Yeah. Sorry, Jets fans. Don't know many of you out there. I'm not sure there are many of you out there, but as it is, no. Vikings, they got this one. I think it will be in formidable fashion. I think they'll win by at least 10 points in this one. I think we're going to go with a final score of 30-20. 30-20 for that one. But honestly, for your Bears-Packers pick, Justin Fields was just upgraded to a fully participant in practice today. And if Justin Fields plays, if he plays, I see the Bears having a shot in this one. Bears offense, sure, they lost Darnell Mooney to IR, but this team has proven that when you take Justin Fields off the leash, he can work magic. We're going to see that run game go and do a very good job between him and David Montgomery. No Khalil Herbert. He's still on IR, unfortunately, but I like the rush game they provide. I just think the Packers have proven they are too inconsistent of a team to really stand the task. And I think the Bears are going to surprise people and catch them off guard if Justin Fields plays. If he doesn't, give me the
He
Packers.
probably will. This would be a big game for him in his career.
Exactly.
Packers. He hasn't done it yet in his career. They got blown out by him earlier in the season. So
yeah, that wasn't Lambeau.
This came out right. This is definitely an iffy lock for me, for sure.
Yeah. So I'm going to take
lock to let you back in, maybe.
I'm going to take Chicago. Final score 24-23 in this one. I think the spread's going to be that close at the end of the day. So I'm going to take the Bears in a very close game at home. And Justin Fields will get the monkey off his back finally and prove to the world that he is finally ready to start taking a positive trend forward in his NFL career.
Love it.
And now for Chet's upsets this week. Starting off, I'm going to take the Chargers +1 over the Raiders. And then this is going to be one of the biggest picks. I'm going to take the Bengals +2 at home against the Kansas City Chiefs. We saw it twice last year. I'm going to start with the Chiefs. Actually, no, I'm not going to go there. I'm going to make you all wait for that one and go back to my first one. So Chargers over Raiders. Sure, we just talked about the inconsistencies of Brandon Staley, but you also have to talk about the inconsistencies of Josh McDaniels and the Las Vegas Raiders. Sure, they put Josh Jacobs rushed for over 300 yards last weekend. That's not going to happen again, people. Sorry. That's just not going to happen. At the end of the day, we'll probably see him get at least 20-plus carries, probably 100 yards on the day. But the Chargers, they know this team very well. This is a team that, sure, they lost to in the regular season last year in the final game when it mattered. But I think Justin Herbert has finally, as of last week, looked the best that he has since week 3 against Kansas City. That's the best I've seen him play in a very long time. And the fact that Keenan Allen looks back and healthy, Mike Williams is easing himself back. Joshua Palmer proved to be a key weapon in last week's game. And I think Gerald Everett's going to open up a lot of lanes in the middle of the field.
It's a crazy game-winning drive that they had. Seriously.
And then also you can't forget Austin Eckler. Austin Eckler, ever since the departure of Melvin Gordon, has proven, hey, man, I'm just not some backup that you can just dump the ball off to. I'm an all-around back. And I think they're going to have themselves a great game. I think the spread is definitely generous to the Raiders. I think we're going to see a final score in this one of 26-20 Chargers. And then we have the big game, Bengals over Chiefs. Bengals beat the Chiefs twice last year, once in the regular season in week 17, and then also in the AFC Championship game, in a game in which they came back in. Sure, we're talking about a Kansas City Chiefs team that is definitely, in and of itself, the best team in the AFC as of right now. But I think the Bengals, they just found themselves in the playoff picture for the first time all season, and they're heading in a positive trend right now. Jamar Chase is back. Joe Mixon is due to return based on, hopefully, the concussion protocol goes well. Samaje Perine proved very well last week if they need his services. But if Joe Mixon comes back, I think this team has a very good shot at defeating the Kansas City Chiefs. This game will be a shootout. I'll tell you that. It will be probably around that spread that they're predicting. But as of right now, I just like what I'm seeing with the Bengals. I think we're seeing them hit the spark that they found last season, late in the year. And I think a key win in this game will shake the AFC all over the place and give them a better shot, not just at staying in the postseason picture, but at making a run for the AFC North once again. They want that title. They want to go back-to-back. And I think they'll find a way to take down Patrick Mahomes once again in Cincinnati. I'm going to go final score on this one, 34-24. 31.
Wow, that was the score of the game last year between those two teams. I'll have to fade you on both your picks, though, Chet. I'm going to have to go in the other direction on both of them.
Knew that was
the
coming.
Raiders, they've been looking hot recently. They won their last 2 games in overtime. I really want the Chargers to lose this game just for the Pats' sake of making the playoffs. So give me the Raiders at home. This is a rematch of last year's Week 18 game in Las Vegas. I think it's a similar story. Raiders win at the buzzer, maybe not overtime, but I think by a field goal. They win their 3rd straight game on the last play of the game. They're going to win this one by a score of 23-20. It's going to be a low scoring affair. Not too many points in that one in terms of a Raiders-Chargers game. But in the Chiefs-Bengals game, do I think Mahomes will lose 3 straight games to the same team? No, I just don't. There's no way in H. I think that's going to happen. And I think Mahomes is too talented to do that. I think he's going to learn from last year's playoff loss and last year's Week 17 loss and what to do to beat this Bengals team. I think the Bengals, they're hitting their stride, like you said. They had a big win against Tennessee on Sunday. But do I think they're going to beat Mahomes at home, even in Cincinnati? No, I don't think so. I think Mahomes and the Chiefs, they're different this year. This is the best Chiefs team in the last couple of years, probably since the team that lost the Super Bowl to Tampa Bay. And they just look different this year. I think they're going to win this big game. This is a big game, big moment for Mahomes and the Chiefs. I hate to keep riding the Chiefs. I mean, my roommates said my favorite team is the Chiefs. So I always take them,
but you have to. They've proven it.
They're different. Yeah, they're different. I can respect greatness. I think in a game like this on Sunday, in the late window on national TV, I think Mahomes and company are going to get their sweet revenge on the Bengals.
I'm surprised
that the AFC is still theirs.
I'm surprised this isn't the Sunday night game, to be honest.
Yeah, I think CBS definitely would have wanted to protect this game.
Yeah, especially for Tony Romo and Jim Nantz. Jim Nantz. Of
course. Oh, yeah.
Got him.
Absolutely.
But, yeah, so that does it for tonight's episode of Unapologetic with Chet and Duffy. We'll see how the standings get shaken up, not just in the NFL playoff picture, but in our standings and locks and upset picks for this year. This will
probably favor me.
Whatever you say. We'll see what happens. But anyways, thank you all for tuning into tonight's episode of Unapologetic with Chet and Duffy. Winter sports about to begin soon on Fans Only Sports Network. A lot of games going on this weekend, but especially next weekend. High school hockey will be back next weekend. We did get that incorrect. Next weekend will be the first weekend of high school hockey. So go to fansonlysports.com and purchase your online season or single game ticket passes there. And we hope to catch you all on a broadcast on whatever game you're interested in watching. But until then, thank you all for tuning in to this week's episode. This is Chet and Duffy signing off. And as always, and especially tonight, go Pats. Please,
go
Pats,
baby. Let's get it.
Let's get it. Big win over the Bills. We need it. We need a postseason push. And tonight's the night. Do it. Do your job.
Sure do.
Peace.
Peace.